Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Well, an overwhelming amount of viewers have made it clear that there are two films that put the sin in cinematic shitmongering that I must address. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. And God can't tell you how much I don't want to review these suckers. If someone gave me a choice between sitting through these movies again and being crucified, I'd say, grab the nail gun, I hear there's a lumber sale at Home Depot's. Both of these movies are based on the best fighting games that ever hit the arcades. Street Fighter 2 for its speed and gameplay, and Mortal Kombat for its violence and gore. But luckily, all that violence and gore had absolutely no disturbing side effects on our decent childhoods. I'm sorry, I have to do that every 12 minutes. Now, both of these movies came out around the same time, so we got a double dose of disappointment that summer. But, to keep it simple, let's review the first film that came out that year, Street Fighter. So what's the main problem with this piece of shit of a movie? 4 syllables. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Van Damme is like the poor man's Chuck Norris, the guy you get if you think Steven Seagal is too classy for your movie. He knows martial arts, but he often forgets that you need a personality in order to be interesting.
Anytime, big head.
The only bigger insult to having a bad actor in a bad film is having a good actor in a bad film. Enter Raul Julia as the villain M. Bison. Raul Julia was one of the most charismatic actors who ever lived, and was taken from us a million times too early. In fact, it was rumored that Raul Julia did this as his last film because it was something his children really wanted him to do. Well, thank you, you little brats! He lived long enough just to see the destruction of his entire career! Top notch! Warning, this is clearly for satirical purposes. Raul Julia kicks ass, I'm sure his family kicks ass.
You've lost your balls.
So what's the story, you're probably wondering? Well, ironically, it involves absolutely no street fighting whatsoever. Van Damme plays a war hero named Guile who's out to stop the evil M. Bison from, you guessed it, taking over the world.
Of course!
On top of his fearsome army, Bison also has hostages that he's holding ransom for $20 billion. Guile, being the fearless leader, has this to say. Can he do that on TV? After that, we get a bad action sequence, followed by another bad action sequence, followed by another bad action sequence, followed by another bad action sequence, followed by... Oh, hey, look, they're actually talking here. Okay, this is the scene where they discuss their strategy to... Oh, wait, no, sorry, this is just another bad action sequence. Guile's accompanied by 3 other fighters, Chun-Li, Balrog, and Honda. They represent some sort of journalistic secret agent fighting squad who are also out to take on M. Bison. Now that's just violating nonpartisan reporting. These 3 obviously have a very difficult task ahead of them. Not taking on M. Bison's fearsome army, but trying to figure out what the hell their fearless leader is saying.
Call it a wake-up call.
A wake-up call? What's a wake-up call?
If I'm not topside in 15 minutes.
What?
And destruct his defenses.
Huh?
If Sagat runs against the Bison.
Who? Seriously, even the actors in the movie look at him like they have no idea what he's saying.
Some moron just scanned me.
I hate to admit it, but I think I might actually be missing Schwarzenegger.
Get the hostages out!
Get the hostages out! Things start looking up when it appears that Guile has been shot and murdered in the middle of a violent shootout. Hey, alright, this movie's finally starting to get good! It turns out that Guile's still alive, and this death scene was just an attempt to fool the enemy, even though they spot him on a speedboat just a few moments later. Which makes this scene entirely pointless. By the way, I love Guile's army fatigue of blue camouflage. That'll really come in handy if they're ever fighting in the sky or underwater. The rest of the story is kinda hard to keep track of, considering how there's so many damn characters. Most adaptations have the problem of leaving a character or 2 out, but not Street Fighter, no. They have the courtesy of giving us every single damn annoying character these games ever produced. Like Guile, and Bison, Chun-Li, Honda, Zagat, Balrog, Ken, Ryu, Cammy, Zangief, DJ, Vega, Dhalsim, T-Hawk, Blanca, Sneezy, Dopey, Grumpy, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid, Cubby, Tommy, Pinky, Brain, John, Ringo! The Professor and Marianne! It's a nightmare! Everyone in the world is here! It's like a Street Fighter Christmas! Okay, I'm gonna do you a favor and show you the only funny scene in this entire movie. It's when the villains are watching a TV screen showing a truck of explosives riding out of control, only to find that the truck is actually heading right towards them.
Quick! Change the channel!
Okay, that's kind of funny. But trust me, it's not worth it to watch painful scenes like this one where the most stereotypically smug British man tells Guile that they're giving in to M. Bison's demands.
Deliver these instructions to your troops, then consider yourself relieved of your command. We think we can deal with General Bison.
Now if you'll excuse me, I'm off to burn down an orphanage and puppy farm. Then Guile delivers a speech that even George W. would find epically ridiculous.
Our superiors say the war is canceled. We can all go home.
Oh, God. I don't know how much more of this movie I could take.
Bison is getting paid out for his crimes. And our friends who have died here. But we can all go home.
Yes, very tragic. I got things to do, so I'm just...
Meanwhile, ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up. But we can all go home.
Well, we would if you would stop yapping your trap.
Well, I'm not going home.
No, don't do this to me, Van Damme. You said I could go home.
I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass.
Heart of a poet.
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
No! One subplot out of the billions going on here involves Guile's friend Blanca, who's transformed into a mix between the Hulk and one of those cavemen you see from the Geico commercials.
You're joking.
This is done by a scientist named Dalsum, who's just a dead ringer for the Dalsum in the video game. Can you tell the difference? I sure can't. Actually, one of the strangest parts of the movie involves his appearance. The last time we see him, he looks like this, and then the next time we see him, he looks like this. What the hell happened? One minute he looks like a scientist, the next he looks like the bald guy from 300. And the movie never tells us why. Did he just bloom into a Yogi Indian warrior? Was he on his way to a Kwee costume party? I mean, it makes no sense.
Why?
So after an onslaught of bad lines and lame action scenes, we finally get to the showdown between Guile and M. Bison. Granted, Bison's army is totally outnumbered and all they have to do is shoot him in order to end this stupid war, but nope, Guile wants to risk thousands of lives so he can show off his cool hand-to-hand combat moves.
Okay.
A 30-year-old heavyweight takes on a 50-year-old dictator? Gee, I wonder who's gonna win. What a shock. At some point, Bison regenerates himself and is able to levitate throughout the room. So he flies up into the air and hits Guile straight on. And then, after that, he flies up into the air and hits Guile straight on. But then he has the brilliant strategy of flying up in the air and hitting Guile straight on. I think finally the 12th time he does this, Guile gets an idea. Maybe he should hit him.
Bison, you're off the air.
I think probably the strangest scene, and trust me, that's saying a lot, comes at the very end when Guile tries to rescue Blanca and Dalsum. Blanca says he can't face the world looking how he does, so Dalsum decides to look after him in the comfort and safety of a burning building. I mean, what made them think they would be okay there? Guile even at one point says,
This whole place is gonna go up.
"Oh, it's a fixer-upper, but you can't beat that rent." Gee, I wonder how the armies feel knowing that Guile's best friend and an innocent scientist were lost in that explosion. I guess they're taking it pretty well. Horrible movie, sucks ass, next film. That same year, Mortal Kombat came out, and you'd think we would have learned our lesson with Street Fighter, but the fact is the advertising for this movie was actually pretty good. It looked just like the game, the special effects were kinda cool, and it had that techno beat you could never get out of your head. We went into Street Fighter knowing it was gonna be bad, but for Mortal Kombat, we were suckered in. So what's the main problem with this film? 4 more syllables. PG-13. The game was one of the most violent bloodbaths that ever hit the arcade, and we all knew there was no way they could fit all that gore into a PG-13 movie. Which is a shame because there's a lot of characters here that could use a good decapitation.
Where do you get these guys?
The story centers around 3 people. Johnny Cage, who makes his living as a pretentious actor, Sonya, who makes her living as a pouty FBI agent, and Liu Kang, who makes his living as a, Asian. Accompanying them is a mystical something or other known as Raiden, played by Christopher Lambert, who sounds a little bit like Peter Lorre after drinking 1,000,000 sandpaper martinis.
The great tournament was too much responsibility.
Responsibility! They're summoned to do battle in a supernatural tournament known as Mortal Kombat, spelled with a K, not a C. Because it's more threatening? All of them entered the tournament for different reasons. Sonya, because she's after a killer named Kano, Johnny Cage, because he thinks it'll help his career, and Liu Kang, because he's, Asian. All these characters are pretty annoying, but it's Johnny Cage's one-liners that really make you want to kill yourself.
You want me to carry your luggage? I pay money, you carry the bags.
Thank God I didn't ask him to park the car.
The tournament is run by the soul-sucking psychopath Shang Tsung, and of course his goal is to, that's right, take over the world.
Of course!
Where the hell are we?
Do I look like your travel agent?
We find out later that Kano is actually working for Shang Tsung and is ordered to defeat Sonya at the tournament. Like most of the characters in this movie, this guy could have been really cool, but unfortunately, he talks.
You know, one-on-one, man-to-man, hand-to-hand.
Oh, come on, I just got done watching Van Damme. Don't put me through another annoying accent.
Almost lost my lunch.
I know the feeling. He's also accompanied by fighter Sub-Zero, who gives new meaning to the term cold shoulder, and Scorpion, whose hand looks like a vagina being penetrated. Well, it does!
Disgusting.
Both these characters are pretty cool, but maybe that's because they don't talk throughout the entire movie. For all we know, they could have Jamaican accents or something.
Who's the big hot bag of bear who doesn't bathe and doesn't care?
Then there's also the creature known as Goro, who's also serving Shang Tsung. And let me tell you, you can really tell he's been working on his forearms. Oh, what? He's said to be an alien prince, but I don't know, I think he looks an awful lot like the human prince to me. He's a pretty decent effect, despite the fact that his lip movements are about as accurate as a sock puppet's.
This puny mortal will be no problem.
Oh, wait a minute, Cage is about to do something funny. So Sonya defeats Kano, Liu Kang defeats this guy, Raiden croaks up some more advice, and Johnny Cage even manages to kill off Goro, which is an act of kindness after listening to his stupid one-liners.
This is where you fall down.
We also find out why Scorpion and Sub-Zero don't talk. Scorpion turns out is a fire-breathing skeleton, it happens, and Sub-Zero is too busy pulling energy from his crotch to defeat his enemies. Hey, if you had cold balls of fury like that, you wouldn't be talking much either.
Exactly.
After that, the film follows a pretty standard format. Someone fights, Raiden talks. Someone fights, Raiden talks. Someone fights, Raiden talks. So what exactly does he talk about? Well, I hope it's not something cliche like you must first face your fears if you were to conquer them.
You must first face your fears if you are to conquer them.
Fuck me, this is a dumb movie.
Come to a little tournament, he said. Be good for the career, he said.
Later, we find that Shang Tsung kidnaps Sonya and forces her to fight him instead of Liu Kang. Oh, wait a minute, what happened to the brave and powerful Sonya? One second, she's this fearsome warrior, and all of a sudden you put her arm behind her back, and it's...
Oh, save me, he's too strong.
No! It's okay, you know, you'll get out of it.
Let me go!
Alright, calm down, you'll think of something. Okay, chill! I mean, Jesus, you're an FBI agent! It's your job to get out of situations like this! Maybe I should tell her she's not gonna be in Mortal Kombat 2. That'll cheer her up.
Get over yourself.
Looking for guidance, our two heroes turn to Raiden for some helpful advice.
I have nothing further to teach you.
Oh, now you shut the fuck up! The one time we actually need your advice, and you have none to give! What kind of Highlander are you anyway?
Sorry.
The least you can do is tell us where he's taking her.
The Emperor's castle.
The Emperor's asshole? Actually, he was referring to the mystical realms of Outworld. And no, that is not another name for San Francisco. This horrifying dimension has the incredible terror of knocked over statues, and some more knocked over statues. Oh, and a creature known as Reptile, who's kinda like a mix between Finding Nemo and Satan's ass.
Reptile.
Ooh! I hope this leads to another pointless action sequence! It does! I love meaningless violence with no rhyme or reason. It reminds me of just how boring the human imagination really is.
Brilliant.
After we see Sonya dressed up in a skimpier costume, which is questionable but not problematic, Shang Tsung enters with a bunch of hooded servants, and we all know how this works. Alright, the good guys are gonna be in the robes, they keep their head down so you don't see them, yeah, okay, they're walking through, okay, make the evil speech, we all know the good guys are gonna pop up any minute, you know, can we just move this along a little bit? How long do we have to wait here? Yes, I know you're very evil and everything, come on, can they just pop out anytime? I mean, can you just hurry up and send in the clowns?
They're already here.
Hooray! Let's celebrate with more fighting! And how about another stupid Johnny Cage line?
Nice dress.
Okay, seriously, no more Johnny Cage jokes. I just can't shrug anymore.
Enough!
So Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung, rescues Sonya, sets free all the little Casper goats, and they live happily ever after. Or do they?
What is it, Emperor? You eat pathetic fools. I've come for your souls.
I don't think so.
Well, I do. When the credits pop up, that means it's time to leave the theater and never look back at this horrible film as long as you live. Now granted, Mortal Kombat isn't quite as bad as Street Fighter, but that's kind of like saying being stabbed in the stomach isn't quite as bad as testicular torture. Bottom line, these movies suck. The games are great, but these movies suck. They're horrible. They're horror terrible. If I had a choice of seeing these movies again and crawling across a street of broken glass on my belly with my thigh open, only to be greeted by a pack of rabid wolverines who not only want to eat me, but also rape me, I'd probably see the movies again. But it's close. Very, very close. Like a gnat's wing. I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to.